Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is a Vlogmas 2025, day number 6, and I have our little advent here. But have you guys, let me ask you, have you ever lost something and you just absolutely cannot find it? And it's like you've looked everywhere and like you just look and look and look and you just can't find it. I have lost my Beats earbuds, and it's not like me to lose things like that because like I generally know where my stuff is. It's like every place has a home and that's where that goes. And like the Beats have a home and they're not in their home, and it annoys me. So I have been looking all morning. Well, not all morning because I done some stuff this morning too, but I've been looking, and right before I was getting ready to sit down to film this video, and I had like an epiphany. I was like, what if it's in one of my jacket pockets? So I dug through my closet. I searched every jacket pocket that I had. I searched pants pockets, coat pockets. Sadly, not there. So, and I desperately miss them because anytime I'm in a store, I always put them in and either listen to music or listen to a book or to a podcast, and it definitely helps me keep my wits about me in the store. So, yeah, and like I like to put it in like when I'm talking on the phone, and that way I don't have to hold the phone, or my phone doesn't do like the speaker very good, so I like to put them in for that. And well, I was at the Walmart today buying some dog food, and I thought, let's just go back and look at their Beats and see. And I got so excited because I was like, oh my God, they're on sale. Yay. So I bought a pair and come home and open the box, and I'm like, these are so much smaller than my other ones. Like, did they redesign it? No, I bought the wrong ones, so I didn't even get the ones with the noise cancellation, which is what I like. So I'm going to have to take those back to Walmart. So that's a whole separate trip. I just really miss my earpods. Oh, well, that's enough of me whining, right? Let's get into the Christmas code here. So, day number 6, December 6th. Take my glasses off so I can see. Looking at the big picture, it's a worship service. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Luke 2:14. Of course, the wise men didn't arrive to see Jesus until months after his birth. But still, these visitors from afar are placed in traditional manger scenes right along with the shepherds. Look at the nativity and you see a worship service. Angels hover over it like drones. Common, smelly shepherds and sophisticated wise men bow down. Worship flows from everyone towards the child. It is difficult to imagine any greater contrasts than what we see at the Nativity. They were different socially. Shepherds were low on the socio-economic level. Wise men were so socially acceptable that they entered the king's palace. They were different educationally. Shepherds had no formal education, while the wise men were famed for knowledge. God is telling us that no matter who you are or where you are from, any and all can come to Christ and worship him. Christmas, first and foremost, is about worship. So the code word today is manger. Think about it. She laid him in a manger, a feeding trough for the animals. Had he been born in a palace, only the elite would have had access. But any and all can approach a manger. Jesus is still accessible to you and anyone who will join the shepherds in bowing before him. So the prayer for the day is, Lord, Help me keep the worship of you in my heart this Christmas and all year. Glory to God in the highest. In Jesus' name, amen. Ooh, that's a good one. That is very true. If he had been born in a palace, then the shepherds definitely would not have been welcome there, right? So God knew what he was doing. Okay, so we'll take a reading from Christmas Miracles. Let's see what we have. I am going to take this dust jacket off, though, because it kills me each time that I try to read from it. Definitely not like this one. This one, like, stayed real close to it. Okay, let's see. What is next? It is called a Bologna from Heaven. Okay, let me take a sip of some Sprite Zero before I get started. I told you all, just as soon as I get ready to read this, my mouth goes dry. Bologna from Heaven. My grandmother was not the home-baked cookies and crocheted blankies grandma sort of at all. She had lived the majority of her life as a widow with 2 children, working hard as a professional in a world accustomed to such things. A Southern lady of appreciable means, she had hired help when my mother and my aunt were being raised, giving her distance from the day-to-day chores of child rearing. She was formal, aloof, almost Victorian, and utterly undomestic. From my earliest days, I called her grandmother, so you can practically hear the capital G as I spoke it. She certainly didn't know what to do with her first grandchild, a girl, who came to Winder, Georgia for a week-long summer's visit. Grandmother's life was utterly adult. From the hard-edged brocade furniture and untouchable baby grand piano in her living room to her habit of living in solitary peace, eating most meals out. The presence of grandchildren had a way of complicating the routine. Breakfast was easy enough, cereal, and we could always go out for dinner, but lunch was trickier. While she often skipped it for herself, this was not an option for a growing young child. For the brief duration of those summer visits, she did the best she could to overcome her lack of culinary interest and skill. Fried bologna sandwiches were the answer. At noontime, while she cooked, I would sit on the white enamel table next to the stove. Its smooth surface cool under my summer-tanned legs, my feet dangling off the edge. The slap of the distant screen doors slamming and the squeals of neighbors' grandchildren playing in the midday heat poured in through the open window behind me. I loved the ritual of the sandwiches as much as the food itself. My job was to carefully peel away the red, rubbery shell from each piece of bologna. Grandmother would put it into a hot, heavy cast iron skillet, cooking only one slice at a time. I watched intently for the best part to happen, when heat made the bologna puff up at the center to resemble a pink bathing cap. With great force, Grandmother would deflate the little cap with 2 businesslike whacks with the edge of the metal spoon, making a little cross in the center of the slice. Soon after that special step, the bologna was flipped over, and when the edges began to curl from the heat, it was done. Placed on toasted white bread, liberally slathered with Hellman's mayonnaise, it was my lunch every day in Winder, Georgia. As an adult, I rarely eat meat at all, much less a highly processed product of such questionable origin and ingredients as bologna. The sylvan days of hot Georgia summers are a long time away from my life today. Grandmother had died the year I was married. Soon divorced, in dire financial straits from my former husband's shenanigans, and estranged from the rest of my family, I found myself living in a small, low-budget apartment shared with a roommate. Struggling to finish my college education on small student loans and slow-to-arrive grants, I was faced with a poor and lonely Christmas. The contrast between my own plain life and the artificial gaiety that decorated the town was depressing. Christmas lights and silver tinsel hung from lampposts. Huge winking stars decorated the intersections. My apartment was not decorated at all. I had no Christmas tree, no honey-baked ham, no tin of home-baked cookies on my table. The only bright spot in my life that year was my 2 little Pekingese dogs, Sandy and Samantha. They loved me unconditionally and were a tremendous source of comfort during those rough years. Alas, not only did I not have a tree, no ham, and no cookies, but I also had no food for the dogs. No dog food and no money in my checking account. My next student loan payment was not scheduled to arrive for another week or so. And so the nursery rhyme says, my cupboards were bare. Now I could only have made it for the week on my own without food. Casually dropping in on friends near dinner time or swallowing my pride and visiting a soup kitchen for a hot meal. But how could I feed my girls? Studying the figures in my checkbook, unable to find a forgotten dollar or calculating mistakes, I realized the only way I could feed my little family was to write a check at the store, knowing full well that it would not be covered until my student loan arrived. I was horrified that this was the level to which I had sunk. Sick at my heart to think I was about to resort to a life of crime, and depressed that there was no one to whom I could turn, no one to comfort me. I screwed up my resolve and decided to buy only the most minimal essentials, not wanting to take advantage of the grocery store any more than I had to. No steak or lobster for me, just the basics. I wrote grocery list after grocery list, paring the items down to where I had but a few things that the dogs and I could not do without. It was a long car ride to the local market. I entered with a heavy heart and slowly walked down the aisles to find a few things on my list. Dog food, bread, milk, top ramen. Standing in line at the checkout counter, I was certain that everyone around me could sense what I was about to do. Christmas carols played over the sound system as I fidgeted. Finally, it was my turn at the register. Blinking through tears of shame, I wrote out the check and handed it to the checkout girl. "Thank you and have a Merry Christmas," she said. I grabbed my bag and ran for the car. I wept the whole way back to my apartment. What was my life coming to? Would I ever finish school? And would I ever get back on track financially? Once home and unpacking my plunder, I reached into the sack of the last few items when my hand found an unfamiliar plastic package cool to the touch. Puzzled, I pulled it out. It was a 5-pound package of Oscar Mayer bologna. Bologna? That wasn't on my list. I hadn't eaten it in years, and I knew full well I hadn't put it into my cart at the store. It was way too expensive for me to afford. I checked the receipt, and the bologna wasn't there. And then it hit me. Grandmother. She was trying to take care of me. From across the heavens, she had felt my hunger, my fear, and my despair. And she had reached out through the mist to comfort and care for me the only way she had ever known how, with fried bologna sandwiches. Hours before, I had been on the brink of starvation. Now I had enough bologna and bread to eat until the next check arrived. Crying again, but this time from joy, I reached for a frying pan and set about making the best Christmas dinner I had ever had. Every year since then, I make fried bologna sandwiches on Christmas Eve, thwacking the puffed up slices with the side of my spatula, remembering an extraordinary woman from Winder, Georgia. This was submitted by Nora Lynn from Sacramento, California. Guys, I about choked up on that one. That one was so good. Oh, felt so bad for her. Oh, I really feel like her life is where she wants it to be now when she submitted that story. So that makes me happy. But oh, isn't that just something? That was a good one. I like that one. What'd y'all think about that one today? I mean, you don't often hear too many stories about miracles and baloney, right? Put that back up. Okay, so now, as you guys know, me and Summer, our friend Summer, are doing a Christmas swap. We have done a couple swaps in the past. Last year, actually, we done the first ever Christmas swap that we had, but we have done a fall swap and then a spring swap as well. And we liked the Christmas swap so much last year that we decided to do it again this year. And spoiler alert, but we are having a lot of fun, and we will possibly do it again next year. I don't know, I haven't asked her yet, but Summer, do you want to do it again next year? I'm already having fun. But I have day number 6 right here in this lovely bag. I had it sitting in this basket. So let's open day number 6. I don't know where Summer gets her tape, but it is some good tape. Like, I'm already, oh, I got some skisses right here. So let's just clip it. Like, I bought the good tape too. I bought like name brand Scotch, and I can guarantee you that my packages probably still were open, because I was like, when I was closing the box up to tape the box, I was trying to, you know, take your fingernail and rake it across there. Okay. Well, I must have missed a piece of tape. Okay, let's see, what all do we got down in here? Let's see some, oh my goodness. Look, we've got Hermione Granger. We have Harry Potter and Ronald Weasley. I love Harry Potter. Snickers. I love Snickers. My favorite right there, Milky Way. I like having Milky Way with, what's that called? Popcorn. My absolute favorite brand of gummies, Albanese, which, fun fact, are made here in Indiana. I believe it's in Merrillville, Indiana. And then, let's see, there's a note at the bottom. It says some of your favorite snacks and some Harry Potter figures, because I know you love Harry Potter. That's right, I do. And I'm probably going to put these on my shelf. I got like a little shelf in my bedroom, and it's got some like Christmas Harry Potter ornaments. So I'm going to put Ron and Harry and Hermione up there with them. And I will be putting the snacks in the kitchen. Okay, guys. Well, that is it for day number 6. I hope that your December is going good. This is the first weekend of December. Just a little chit chat, like daily life stuff. Besides looking for my Beats headphones, my Beats earpods. I started another sourdough starter, guys, like 3 weeks ago. About a week and a half in, I was like, well, this is not going well, because it was doing absolutely nothing. So I do what I always do. I get on the internet and I ordered me 2 dehydrated starters from Etsy. One is supposedly, I mean, like, I have no way to verify this. One is supposedly 700 plus years old from Switzerland. And the other one is like over 100 years old. I believe it's from San Francisco. Well, after I placed my orders and, they're being, packaged and shipped and stuff, I started noticing some changes in my own starter. So by the end of week number 2, he was doing things. Like he was like doing the bubbling. So what was I even talking about? Oh, my starter. So things started happening there. He was doing some bubbling and he was like rising a little bit. He was starting to smell like what I would think a sourdough starter would smell like. So I thought, well, I'm just going to keep on like doing all of the thing, like trying to make the starter, like doing the nightly and morning feedings of the starter and stuff. And I continued on. This weekend was the end of week number 3. And by the end, he was like what the starters on the Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and FaceTime and all of the places, YouTube, all of those sourdough starters that you see that are all like bubbly and like wavy looking and stuff. That's my Arthur. He is all those things now. So I didn't even have to use the ones I bought. So I made, I decided I was going to make 2 loaves of bread this weekend to try it out because, it's a little bit tricky according to the internet. So I, fed him a bunch, and yesterday when I got home, I started the process. Now, I did have to get up at 2:30 this morning because he still wasn't done doing his bulk fermenting. So it's like proofing, I guess. He wasn't done with that until like 2:30 this morning. So I got up at 12:30. Let's see, I was talking to Summer till about 12. I fell asleep. I got up at 12:30. Then I got up at 1:30, and then I got up at 2:30. And around 2:30, it looked like he was done. I don't know. I've only ever made sourdough one other time. As you guys, if you've been around for a minute, last year I had started a sourdough starter. And again, it only took a week, but it never even looked as good as what Arthur looks right now. So I don't even know if I truly made a sourdough starter. I don't know. But it died, so I do have another one. So I did have enough to make 2 loaves of bread, and they are currently in the refrigerator doing their cold proof. I'm getting ready to get one out and bake it. So I done one in like a round ball, and I don't have any of those like fancy baskets that they use. So I just used a tea towel in a colander bowl and put the bowl. And then the other one I'm going to turn into like a loaf of bread. So he's hanging out in a bread loaf pan until I bake him. So yeah, that's where those are at. I've been enjoying that. But I had enough because I made like 1 small jar and then like a big jar of the starter, and I only used the big jar. So I had like this whole other jar full of starter. So I sprayed it out as thin as I could on a piece of parchment paper so that it would dry out, and I could put it like in a mason jar and like do the airtight part of it. And that way, if I accidentally kill him or he doesn't do good and dies or something happens, because he lives inside of the oven with the light on, so there is probably going to come a time where he gets baked on accident. So at least I'll have like part of him that I can start over with, because I was like shocked at like how good he was looking. So I've been currently focusing on my sourdough life. Do we have any sourdough bakers out there? Drop some tips to me, or like really good recipes, because I use the recipe from, I think it's Muscle Mama sourdough, or Sourdough Muscle Mama, or Muscle Sourdough Mama, something like that, on YouTube. I use like, it's just a very basic, I didn't do any like putting anything in it, it's just bread. Figure I would get good at just making bread and then start messing with like putting like chocolate chips and blueberries and that kind of thing in it. But I'm excited because, you know, we talked about bread in another video when I was, I think it was a podcast when I was making the bread in the bread machine, that bread in the stores, there's something wrong with it. I don't know what it is, but I was desperately hungry the other day and I was like, what am I gonna eat? And I thought hot dogs, but guess what? I don't have any hot dog buns in the freezer. So I was like, I'm gonna have to buy hot dog buns from the store. So I did, and I opened them up, and guess what? They were wet. Like, I touched them, and I'm like, why is this bread wet feeling to me? I don't get it. I had to put it in the air fryer and like bake it a little because it just felt so wet and gooey to me, which was very off-putting. And that's the only hot dogs I ate was that night. So that hot dog buns are probably going to sit over there until I just eventually throw them away because they're not going to mold. I guarantee you that. You know what? We should do an experiment. Tomorrow, you guys will make the hot dog buns, and we're going to see. We're going to see. I'm going to go through because I've got my receipts because I've been lazy and not been snapping them for fetch. So, yeah. So, I got a bunch, I got a snap. I'm going to find the one with the buns. And that way we know exactly when we bought it to know exactly how long it took it to go moldy. Because I guarantee you, that bread, it ain't going to go moldy. And now watch it. It'll already be molded before I get over there and I'm complaining about it. But that'll give us another little experiment to do this Christmas. We'll check in with our hot dog buns every day. Okay, well, let me know how your guys' week has been. My work, what's the word? It's like, I don't want to say emotionally, but that's the only word I can come up with. Like, it drained my life force. There we go. My work generally does drain my life force, like every day. Like, I shouldn't be as tired as I am, like, because it's not manual labor, but that's what I feel like I've done all day. And it's just because my life force gets sucked out of me by a bunch of vampires. So, there we go. But yeah, let me know how your week has been. We only got a couple more weeks till Christmas. I am going to, we don't even have our tree up yet. So I'm going to make room over here. I will kind of show you, please don't judge for the mess on the floor. Because yes, it is messy. But hold, and I'm going to turn, don't get sick. There's our back door. Ooh. So this is like the view from like the chairs. So the stand here, a basket stand, and the plant stand. I had to move the top plant because he's dying. He normally lives outside in the summertime. And as soon as I brought him in, he started dying. It was all spider plant that I've slowly been killing off. But those are going to move, and that's where the tree will go. But do you see the bell all the way at the top? It's a Longenberger bell. And I have been collecting. Ooh, don't get sick. I've been collecting those bells from this auction place that I go to. And getting them cheap. I've got 4 so far. But my goal is to get enough to go on that basket stand, to hang up on the basket stand, to make like a tree of Christmas bells. Isn't that crazy? But I'd only pay a couple dollars for each bell. I think the most I've spent, it was $10 for the bell, but it's on a hook stand, a wrought iron stand on its own. All the other bells have just been loose, and so yeah, I've got 4 so far out of I think I need way more than 4. So yeah, well, I've just been chatting your all's ear off, and I know that you guys have got a lot of videos to watch, so I shouldn't have been doing that. But I just miss you guys, you know. tomorrow, you will possibly see some sourdough. I'm going to see. I'm going to check it out and see if I need to let it cold proof some more. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.